How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have another one of the community question videos for you guys, and it is one that I think is quite interesting to do. I do it fairly often. Every now and then I like to ask you guys what you think or what would you like the next big update to be in the game. I tend to ask this question when we come towards the end of a big sort of update in the first place. So for example, we've just come to the end of the final boss of God Wars 3 or the Elder God Wars dungeon, and I wanted to see what you guys thought would be a great next big update. And it's kind of cool to do this because every time I ask the question, the ideas that I get are all very different. I mean, I usually get the same standard stuff of like, oh, I want to get a Ring of Death mixed with lots of other rings, like an Essence of Finality for rings, and I want Death Cost update and all that sort of stuff. But we're not going to be talking about that. It's going to be talking about more specific different stuff and that big stuff, whether it's going to be changes to the game or things that make the game a lot better for different people, and just to see what you guys think. If you have any other ideas, then leave them in the comments because I do read through them and it's always interesting, and it also basically extends on this video, so once people are done watching, they can scroll down and read as well. So to be specific, the question that I put out was, what would you like the next big update to be? What would it include and why? So let's see what your comments were, and let's get into this video, shall we? Love to see the new wilderness quest that revamps everything and perhaps even adds a bit of time travel to see what it used to look like before Zamorak had a tantrum. So this is actually such a cool idea, and I really like the idea of reworking the wilderness or doing something with the wilderness to make it relevant again, because at the moment it is just a game of cat and mouse. People just go in, kill skillers that are just in there for 10-20 minutes, or people who are just doing like their agility or their prayer, and that's all it is. They turn up, they kill them, and they get like what, in one inventory of bones, or hope someone was silly enough to bring them all noted. And then that's pretty much it. That's like as far as the wilderness goes. I'm sure there's other stuff happening as well, but just not enough that most people will know about it. I'm not fully with the idea of removing PvP altogether, but they should make it in a way that either it's opt-in or opt-out, or maybe just give a reason to actually do it. And maybe anything that is like the best method of doing XP in the wilderness, maybe take that out of the wilderness or make it a safe spot in the wilderness and add other reasons or incentives to actually go into the wilderness that is PvP related. That way there's actually reason to do it, and the people who want to do it can do it, and the people who don't want to do it don't get punished for not doing it. So like, people who don't want to PvP still want to train their prayer, and it's still best to go and use the Chaos Altar in the wilderness. So they have to deal with all the people who PK them, but they just don't want to. So it would make sense if that could be maybe in a safe zone or outside the wilderness. So you still have to get to the Chaos Altar if it is a safe zone, but you could always just do that without any items maybe. And then if it wasn't in the wilderness at all, then obviously that's just that problem solved. But then at the same time, you could use the wilderness, add new stuff to it to make a little bit of enjoyment for the people who do want to be PKing. Like, it doesn't have to be you take everyone's items, because at the moment when people do go PKing, they usually go with like a 1 mil setup. They maybe take one item that is not risked, that's actually got some value to it, and there's no point in like chasing each other for your items anyway, right? Because you're just not risking anything worth getting. So if they could add something else that wasn't like you take someone else's items, maybe you work on some points to unlock some cool cosmetics, I don't know. But this is something we talk about quite a bit, like getting the wilderness revived. I just don't really know how they could do it, and I'm sure that's probably the issue that they have as well, whether there's not enough interest in it or not, I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who would love to do PvP, but just not in the way that it is at the moment. But I would definitely love to see some sort of rework on the wilderness to make it more enjoyable for all people, the people who don't want to PK and the people that do, just so that we can get more use out of it. There's a lot of land out there that's just not being used, so there's definitely a lot of space that we could get a lot of enjoyment from. Our next comment says, as a mobile only player, I'd love to see them finish fleshing out RuneScape Mobile to be more suited to high level PvM, i.e. adding more action buttons on screen for switches and more abilities. It's too cluttered when manually using thresholds and ultimates and prayers or minor defensives, but this may not constitute a major update. So this is something that I think every time I log into mobile. I used to play mobile a lot, and a lot of people know who've subscribed to the channel a while ago that I do, or did, quite a lot of mobile content. I actually started purely on mobile content, but the issue that we had is the UI is just, the UI for me is the big thing. Like, mobile is great. They've done such a good job of it, and I actually cannot deny that they've done a really good job. It looks great, it runs great, and at least it does on my phone. But personally, I just don't think it's ready yet. I don't think it's finished. There's so much stuff they need to do, and I don't think it should have launched like globally yet. I feel like they've missed out on a big market for that, but it is what it is. Either they needed to put like a lot more focus on it just to get it done, get it ready, or I don't know. I feel like mobile is just not getting any the amount of love it needs. It could have been huge, but basically what this person's saying is like, things like the action bars and stuff like the UI basically is the big issue, right? So a lot of the stuff it is to do with like the action bar stuff, like the circles that you get on screen for your abilities. It'd be cool if you could get more of those, but at the same time there's a lot of other stuff, like you can't get your inventory open while you're in combat unless it covers up half of your action bars. But there's no reason that couldn't open up in a half window when your action bar's open, and you can just scroll down it. Like, that's not too big of a problem. That'd work. Or you can put all your switches at the top so that it was always there. The rest of your inventory would usually be food anyway, so I don't know, maybe it's definitely something that you could work around. And then also things like bot health bars overlapping with buff bars, and so much stuff. Like, the UI is so cluttered, and I know that's going to take a lot of time to do, but some of the stuff is literally just resize this and move it. Now, I am not a game developer, but I'm fairly certain, at least someone will have to let me know, does it take long to just resize something and move it? I don't think it would, right? Would it not just be entering a value to change the size? Again, I have no idea. I'm not claiming to know, but would it not just be changing the value of the size of a thing and then just removing it? I don't know. Maybe RuneScape code's a lot different, and it is a PC game ported over to mobile. Maybe that makes it a hell of a lot more difficult as well. But they are getting there. They are doing stuff. The last update let us move the direction of the chat around and stuff like that. So they are working on it, but just a little bit slowly, and there's a lot of stuff that definitely just needs a little bit of attention. As for combat on RuneScape Mobile, it does need a lot of work, and it is a lot more difficult. Sometimes you will have to use like 2 action bars to be able to use any sort of combat whatsoever. Like if you go to a boss, you'll have to have 2 action bars to be able to use, and then you have to switch between those action bars, because of course you don't have as much access to abilities and keybinds and stuff like you do on PC, and you kind of need those. That's just how RuneScape works. I don't think mobile was designed with the thought in mind of doing high-end bosses. I think they've done it to make sure you can still do it with a lot of effort and practice, but I think originally it just wasn't the sort of thing that they planned to do. But it would be really nice to see this game getting some love, because I feel like it would also bring a lot of players to the game and keep them in the game if it ran really well and nice, and it looked good, and it was easy to use, it was intuitive, and I don't know. I feel like there's a big market there for mobile, and I just feel like we've missed out on a little bit of it. You mobile only players watching right now, let me know in the comments what sort of things, or what's the main thing, the one main thing that you would love to see changed about mobile or added to mobile to make it better just for you, and explain why as well. Luigi says, realistically speaking, I am just looking forward to the storyline when it comes to quests. What big storyline are we in for next? What's going to be the next problem after the Elder Gods? I'm excited about that. Pipe dream? Revamp of the Wildy. Maybe even combine my first wish with this. Somehow we restore the wilderness. Zamorak is already helping us now. Even if he's still the god of chaos, he's had some change of heart. That'd be cool. So this, frick's sake, man, you actually make me want to know the lore properly in this game. Like, when people talk about the lore, I know it's so good and it makes me want to know it all, but I feel like I'm too far in now to go back and get into all the lore. And also the time, I think it takes the time it takes as well. But yeah, no, I know the lore, and people get into this, like the story and stuff, really big time in RuneScape, because they do a good job of it, and I know they do, because on the small things that I have paid attention to, it's been done really, really well, and people buzz over it. It's absolutely crazy. So I'm sure for a lot of people, actually getting the next storyline, the big storyline, would be absolutely great, and I'm sure you're all excited about that. But also revamping the Wildy, again, another thing coming up here. That'd be cool if they made it part of the story as well, and combined it with like the next big thing. I don't know, that would be really interesting to me, and that might be one that I'd have to pay attention to, like what's happening to the wilderness, what's changing about it. Not gonna lie, that does sound like something I could get into, so I like this idea, Luigi. I think this is really cool, but I think we're still expecting one more Elder God, are we not? Something to do with the duel arena. I'm pretty sure early next year they said they were going to rework the duel arena, or remove the duel arena and work it into something to do with the Elder God Wars dungeon, or the Elder God Wars in general. So hopefully that means there's another big bad boss coming, and he's going to be underneath the duel arena, or where the duel arena was. I don't know, but I am looking forward to that. And if you have any sort of theories on this, guys, about what this could be, just throw the theories in there. I love reading the theories and stuff as well. Just like, it's going to be this boss, and because it's in the duel arena, it's the desert, and it's going to be related to this. There's just stuff like that. It's freaking awesome to hear about. So let me know in the comments. Our next comment is from Ardaki, and I hope I said that right. You say, I want them to do some kind of rework on tutorials to really help new players and get them excited from the get-go. It's quite hard to manage the action bars and abilities coming in, as it's not that intuitive. Possibly a guide to optimal quest pathing that's recommended in the journal, better combat training. Dude, don't get me started on freaking new player stuff. Honestly, the amount of time I spent talking about this, like new player experience, is just, it's way too much. But you're absolutely right. The new player experience really could use introduce something, not just like to overhold someone's hand, but just to help them understand why they're doing stuff. That's why I say all the time, it's why you're doing stuff and how this actually works properly, and the reason for why you're doing it, and just giving you an understanding of what goals you can actually work towards. Because if you don't have a goal in this game as a new player, everything you do kind of feels pointless. So if they can set you a goal early on, then it's going to be so freaking helpful as well. But like you said here, possibly a guide to optimal quest pathing, that would be absolutely huge. Like suggesting the next quest, like saying, all right, okay, so most players usually do this quest next, or this is the next quest in this series, or anything along those lines to keep you going. That would be really good, because it gets people into the game and gets people like sucked in, and they'll enjoy the storyline. And then when they finish that one quest storyline, they might think, is there any more that I can do? And even if questing is the way that they get people into it, the Jagex have done a brilliant job with quests. People hate them. A lot of people hate the quests, but not because of the effort the Jagex has put into it, just because it's like, it feels like effort, like as a normal player. But for a brand new player, reading the quests and getting into it properly, you would actually enjoy them. You really would. And maybe they should actually work on that, like you say. As for managing the action bars and abilities, yeah, that's the difficult part, and there definitely needs to be more of a combat tutorial. I don't really know how they do it, because there's a hell of a lot, and I feel like it could take a long time to get through it. Maybe they need to make it like an optional thing that you can do, like an optional extra, and maybe you can go back to it at any time and play it. So even an endgame player right now wanting to get into PvM, maybe they could go back and actually replay that same combat tutorial, because some people at endgame who haven't even really got into combat would be able to benefit from it as well. I feel like this could be quite useful, and I do think that new players need a little bit of extra help with combat, because that is something that every single person that I've got into this game and that hasn't stayed, it's all been to do with the combat and not knowing why they're doing stuff. So definitely need some loving on that bit, but that's RuneScape though, isn't it? Like once you get past that bit and you know that you can set whatever goals you want, and you know what goals you can actually set, that's what makes the game so freaking special and keeps you playing for years on end. But people need to get to that point first, that is all. They need to get past that initial phase where they don't know what the frick they're doing, they don't know why the hell they're doing it, and the combat is confusing and overcomplicated for them, and they just need that little extra help, I think. And then you would be keeping so many more players. The next comment is actually related to mobile again, although it would actually give some benefits to PC players at the same time after giving a quick skim through it. But what it says is, this may sound odd, but a system overhaul to allow us to do things like save preset action bars. I swap between mobile and PC a lot, and the way you PvM on mobile and PC are very different. My biggest gripe is my action bar setups have got to get massively changed when flipping between the two. If I know I'm playing on mobile next, it takes me a good 15 minutes to fix the bars, because setting them up on mobile is a pain in the ass, then have to put them back when I'm back on the PC. It's almost not worth the convenience of being able to play on the go. I'm almost certain that most mobile players will have this understanding as well, especially if you play on PC as well every now and again. The way that you PvM, or the way that you do things on mobile, is very different than PC, because you'll use your action bars a lot more than you need to on PC, because it just makes your life more convenient, but you use them in different ways as well. So for example, on PC your action bars will be set up as they always are, you'll have them all on screen, whereas on mobile you're only going to have one on screen at a time. But when you do certain bosses, you have to make action bars for specific bosses. So like if you're going to Telos, you would set up maybe 2 action bars specifically for Telos, whereas in the normal one you wouldn't do that. You'd have your magic action bar, and then you'd have all your other stuff like your defensives and your curses and prayers and your weapon switches, all that sort of stuff. But eventually you're going to run out of slots, because if you do things like clue scrolls as well, you have skilling presets for action bars, skilling bars, all that sort of stuff, then it's you're going to use them up really quickly. So it'd be really cool if you could have preset action bars. Like you would have, I believe we have 15 action bars available to us, so you could have all of those set up in a way, and then you'd save it as a preset. So this preset would be mobile preset, and then you could rework all of the action bars again and save that as PC preset, and then you could just load between the two. That'd be really cool, and it would definitely be something that's really helpful. I don't know how it would work in the way of I know that if we had more action bars on screen, for example, the game would get really laggy the way the client works. This is what the mods have said, so I don't know if it would work the same if you could just do a preset. Maybe it's saved in the background and it still is all loaded, and it technically means that's another 15 action bars. I don't know exactly how that would work, but if we could get something like this, just a quick load, like the difference, or have like a PC version that doesn't copy the mobile version, all that sort of stuff, just for UI. I don't know, I feel like that would be super useful, and I completely get where you're coming from, and I'm sure people who play on mobile quite a bit also get where this person comes from too. All the UI and changes and stuff are so much different on PC than it is on mobile, so this would be a cool change. Alright, let's make this our last comment for today, and this one says, I'd like to see some catch-up mechanics, similar to MMORPGs like WoW have. In case you couldn't tell with my voice, I expected there to be more names listed there, but it just said have. For God's sake, the top end players are getting tier 95s, so maybe an increase in drop rates of tier 90s to allow newer or less experienced players to catch up without affecting those in endgame progression. I'm so mid-ground on this, man. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know if I like this one. I don't know if I don't like it. It's very difficult. You guys have to let me know in the comments what you think about this, but I think this is going to be very 50-50. I don't know. RuneScape doesn't take that long anymore compared to what it used to. It really doesn't. But the problem is, RuneScape's progression is the content. Like RuneScape, the leveling, the actual doing the quests, the other stuff like getting towards endgame, that is the content. The endgame isn't the content. The endgame is content, but it isn't the content. It isn't the only thing. So like in WoW, you don't want to be doing all the early stuff. Like, you don't want to be doing the freaking original expansion stuff, right? I don't think you do anyway, because I think unless you're being like a completionist, there's not much point in you doing it. I think it's irrelevant at that point, because you just buy a boost to get past it, and you just want to be in the endgame raids. I think that's right anyway. You guys have to correct me, I've never played WoW. But in a lot of other games as well, it's the same. Now, all the early stuff is dead content. There's not many people there anymore. You just want to get through it, and you want the catch-up stuff so you can get to the endgame quickly. That is not the same in RuneScape. RuneScape is all about your character's progression. It was all about getting yourself to where you want to be and the way that you do it. And it doesn't take as long as it used to, so it's definitely faster that way, but that you should enjoy that journey. Like, I'm loving it on my noob account at the moment. Like, there's so much stuff I have to do, but it's all stuff that I enjoy doing, and you can do it in your own way. It's not a specific way. It's not a theme park MMO. It's a sandbox one, so you can do it however you want to do it. But I know what you mean, because I know a lot of people would like this. I know a lot of people would want to get to the end game and try out the bosses and stuff, but I don't know, man. Like, if you make tier 90s really common, you're not just going to have lower level players getting more tier 90s. You're going to have higher level players farming the living shit out of it, and there's a lot to consider with this. I like the idea, and I like the fact that you're trying to help people get towards endgame, and you're probably one of the people as well, right? You're probably thinking, I'd love to be able to get tier 90s easier and just get into higher game stuff, or start progressing in endgame more. But also, tier 90s are endgame. If you have tier 90s, you can do every boss in the game with tier 90s. So I'm not saying your idea is bad. I'm not saying it is wrong in any way, because I do see the great side in it as well, and I'm very like on the fence about it. But I can't make a decision, and I can't say whether I agree or disagree with this one, because I just don't think I'll ever actually be at a decision. But I do very much value the actual leveling experience in RuneScape. I think that's the big part of it. I think that's a huge part of RuneScape. But what do you guys think? Let me know. Don't leave any toxic comments about this one, because there's no need for it. And I'm sure there are some people who go, no, that's ridiculous. And some people who go, oh, that's amazing. Yes, please. You'll never agree. So don't be arguing with each other in the comments by it. Just leave your thoughts and then move on to that. And everyone can be open to everyone else's thoughts. But I'm interested in seeing what you guys think about this. It's a great comment. It really is a great comment. I just don't know whether I could agree or disagree with it. So, yeah. But anyway, we're going to leave it at that for this one. And that's also going to be our last comment for today. Anyway, guys, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. There's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of cool ideas. I love doing these sort of videos, man. I actually love it so much. Seeing your guys' opinion and reading through them and giving my thoughts on it as well. And then I get to read through the comments as well. It's absolutely great. And I know that a lot of you guys like to get involved in the videos too, so I'm really glad that you do. So anyway, if you did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like on it. Subscribe to the channel if you are new and enjoy this type of content. I know the energy in this one may have been a little bit lower. I am super tired, but that is absolutely fine. We will get we'll get some sleep at some point. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate you all watching, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to my channel members. You guys are absolutely amazing. So thank you so much to you guys once again. Your names will be on screen right now. For anyone else interested, the channel members do get perks while they also support the channel. So if you're interested in that, there's a join button, buy a subscribe button, give it a click. It doesn't like buy anything straight away, but if you give it a click, it'll pop up with all the perks you can get while you do support the channel, and it's very much appreciated. So if you're interested, give the join button a click and see what all that perks and stuff are. Finally, I do have a second channel for YouTube Shorts that I'm trying to grow as well. So all the shorts will eventually be on that channel, just when it's finally like a little bit bigger. But for now, they are some are going to be here, some are going to be there. But if you're interested, do go and follow that channel as well. There's a link in the description. I'll try and remember to put one in the pinned comment as well. So if you're interested in extra stuff like clips from streams and funny things that I can think of, or tiny like very quick guides to stuff, then go and follow the Shorts channel and help me out there. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.